Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today we're gonna look at one of the most popular LeetCode questions there is. I think to this date, oh holy crap, there are 10 million submissions to this thing till date, so which is gigantic, which is a big deal. So I decided to take on this question. So there are many ways to solve or approach this problem. We're gonna see the optimal way to solve it. We're gonna first approach it in an easier way, so it's not hard to digest it, and then we're gonna slowly optimize it, right? So step by step. Now let's try to explain the question a little bit. So what this question is asking is it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. We have a target and we have an array of integers. So we gotta find two different elements, by the way. It cannot be the same element, that add up to the target, right? So that's it. That's pretty much what we have to do. Now there are multiple ways to do it. So you can like select one element and you can do it the naive way. You can basically have two loops and we select one element and we try to find the complement of this number and the rest of the array, right? So, and by the way, if you don't know what a complement is basically you subtract the target with that current number and you try to find that number, right? So, for example, for 2, the complement will be 7 because 9 minus 2 is 7. So if you find 7 anywhere, we just know that those two are meant to go with each other. So think of it as puzzles. So num is the first piece and then we try to find its complement, and so that's how we're gonna approach this problem, right? So I'm gonna use HashMap for this, and we're gonna optimally solve this question. There are other people who try to do with hash set and whatnot. We're gonna just use map for this. Let's try to code up the map of integer, and we're gonna have two integers stored in the map. Close to new hash map, right? So there we have it. Just initialized our hash map. So what are we gonna store in this hash map? We're gonna store we're gonna traverse through the whole array, right? So every single element we come through, we're gonna store its complement there and with the index of that number. So we're gonna see why we're doing this. So we're gonna have another loop for now, and then we're gonna check through the whole loop and try to find that, hey, we have the complements of each number saved in our hash map. Now if we go through the whole loop, and if we find any element that is actually equals to any of the complement that we have, we can just return the indexes of those two numbers, right? Pretty simple. And what are we gonna have in the next as the value, right? We're gonna have the index of that number because we need it to we're eventually gonna have to return that in an array, right? So we have to store that somehow to retrieve it later for our use. So that's why we're storing it. And yeah, so let's look at it in two loop solution, right? So we're gonna have the first loop nums.length plus, and then we're gonna just add the complement of each number, right? So map.put, and the complement is nothing but target minus the number, and we're gonna also add the index, which is gonna be I. So I explained you why we're doing this. So we did this, and then we're gonna have another loop for int I equals 0 again. Just use I. Doesn't matter. 9 plus plus, same loop. By the way, we're not gonna do this because we're gonna optimize it later, but just for you to understand it better, I'm just doing this for now. We're gonna check for a condition, right? If map.contains, if the number is actually contained in the hash map, we know that it's a complement. So we're just gonna return the index of this number along with the index that is contained in the hash map, right? So yeah, contains key nums.I. So we're just checking if this number actually exists in the hash map or not. And also we're gonna check for another condition to make sure that this is not the same number, right? So as always, we're gonna check as map.get the number nums.I. If it is not equals to I, then only we're going to do some stuff. If it is equal to the I, then we know that is the same number. So what do I mean by that? We have index stored in as a key value, right? As a value. So first we know that this. So let's take an example of 324, right? So 3's complement is 3 itself. So now 3 has been stored as a complement in the hash map. Now when we go back and loop through the array again, we're gonna find 3, and the number 3 is actually stored in the hash map as a complement. And it's gonna say yes, it is stored as a complement. The index of 3 is 0, and the index that is stored in the hash map is also 0 because it's the first element, and it's gonna return 0, 0, which is the same element, and that's not the solution. So that's why we check that. If the value of if the index of the map inside the map is equals to this index I, then we're not going to do anything. If it's not, then only we're going to do something, right? Then we know that we have the. Then if this is true, we know that we have the solution. Then we're just going to make a new array, return new int, and we're just going to have the index right now, the nums index, and then we're just going to get the index of the map. That is the complements index, or that is the other index, right? .I, and then this is, we're just going to return it. And by the way, we're going to have return integer somehow, because it cannot be left empty. So because we're never going to reach here, so it will require us to return something. So we're just going to return a demo integer, right? So this should work, but this is not the optimal solution. Let's try to run this. And as you can see that it actually runs, but this is not the optimal way to do this. We are using 2 loops, and we can actually do this in 1 loop. Now let's keep this aside for now, and let's just try to put this in 1 loop itself, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the same loop. We're gonna traverse through the whole array for int I nums.length I + and then at first we're just gonna check this condition, right? If it already contains or not. If this number is already in the map or not, right? We're just gonna check it right away. Like the first thing we're gonna do is .I, and also that condition, because we're gonna have to check if it's the same number or not. So if the indexes are not the same, then only we're gonna proceed. Now equals to I, then we found it already, right? So we're gonna return new int. We're gonna have the ith index and map.get nums I, and this is the semicolon, and else we know that the number doesn't exist, you know. So if the number doesn't exist, we're gonna add the complement of the number in the hash map, basically what we did in the first half. So we're basically combining them together, right? So map.put target minus, so we're putting the complement of the number that I put. So this might be a little bit confusing to understand, but it's pretty simple if you like turn it around in your head. We're just merging. That's why I did the kind of simpler solution first. I implemented it first, and then we came to this optimal solution, right? So let's try to run this, and let's see if it runs or not. And as you can see, it runs perfectly. Now let's try to submit it. And as you can see, it's faster than almost all of the submissions we have. And yeah, that was Twosome for you guys. Let me go through the solution again. So what we're checking is, in the first solution, what we checked is, we were going through the whole array, and we're putting the complement of each number in the map as a key element, right? And then we're also putting in the index of the map as a value for us to retrieve it later. Now, in the next loop, what we did is we're trying to find, you know, if the number is a complement, or it is stored in the hash map or not. So if it is, then that number and the number stored and the index stored in the map, they're going to go together, because that's how it is, right? So that's what we check. And also we check that if the index of that number of the complement that is saved in the hash map is not equals to I. So if it is, then it's the same number, then it's not going to be a solution. So that's also what we check. And then we just return a new end. We just make a new end right there, and we just return it, and it breaks everything, breaks the loop, and we come out of the function, right? So there's that. Now in the next, in a more optimally optimized, well, but yeah, in a more optimized solution, we have those two conditions set in place in the same loop. So we first check if we already have that number existing as, as a key in the hash map. If we do, then great, we found it. Like, we found the complement we're looking for, and just we have to make sure that that number is the same number or not. So we check this condition that okay, let's see, let's try to retrieve the complement's index. Okay, so if the index is not actually equals to the index of the current element, so we are good to go. And then we're gonna just return the current element's index and the index that we get from the hash map, right? So pretty simple. Or else we put the complement one by one into the hash map. We keep on putting it. So we just merge this into one loop, and thus we have a very optimized, perfect solution for this problem, right? So if you found this helpful at all, leave a like, share this with your friends so they can understand this problem too, and leave a comment. And if you have any doubts, also leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you guys, right? So thank you for watching my video, and have a great day. Thanks.